Listen, for those of you that are new, for those of you that are visiting, and for those of you that have been around a long time and don't have any hair, I want to take this moment right now to go ahead and introduce, if you haven't met him, introduce Daniel Miller, the president and founder of the Texas Nationalist Movement, the architect of the man who put a home for all of us to go to, so we can have our voices be heard and do it in the right way, the peaceful and the legislative process. So it's my great honor to introduce Daniel Miller to you. He's my friend. He's a mentor of Texas to me, and I hope he will become the same to each and every one of you. Give a big applause for Daniel Miller.
I think I overdressed. Where's the camo? Men and women of Texas, we are assembled here on the north side of the Capitol. And for a moment, bear with me as I draw your attention to the very top. You can't see it from here, but standing on top of the Capitol dome is Lady Liberty. And the funny thing about Lady Liberty on the Capitol is her back is facing to the north. She was purposely placed that way by the designers of this fine facility because she would forever have her back turned to that nation to the north which knows not liberty. Strangely prophetic, wouldn't you say? Yes. But here we are. Whether it is by design or by providence, we are assembled on the north side of the Capitol. While other organizations that are, in a sense, diametrically opposed to what we believe secured the South Steps, I would venture a guess and say that if you were to go over there right now, you couldn't find them with a hunting dog and a Ouija board. Because people here in Texas that believe in liberty cannot be deterred, cannot be dissuaded. They cannot be blown off by some rain or some administrative block put up so that we can't get the usual rally spot. We showed up anyway. Because we believe in something so fundamental, so primal, so far back in our history that they cannot take it away from us no matter what it is they do. Right. So I will tell you this morning, a group of representatives, 150, and 31 senators stood in this building and they took an oath. And part of that oath contained the pledge and oath to support and defend the Constitution of the state of Texas. Right. Yeah. Yes. Now, granted, they've got to do a couple. They've got to do the United States Constitution. But let us take a look real quick at exactly what it is that they took an oath to support. Article 1, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution. Texas is a free and independent state. Right. Yeah. Subject only to the United States Constitution, not dictates, mandates from an out-of-control Marxist regime in Washington, D.C. A soulless system that has completely disenfranchised people of liberty from their government, but only to the United States Constitution. And the maintenance of our free institutions and the perpetuity of the Union depend on the right of local self-government unimpaired to all the states. Hey. Let that serve as a reminder as part of the oath that these folks took in this building this morning, that the perpetuity of the Union depends on the right of local self-government unimpaired to us. Right. But yet we have been subjected to decades upon decades of our right of local self-government becoming impaired. Yes. Triple. I don't need to go down through every policy decision that's been made over the last 30 to 40 years that absolutely and utterly destroyed the sovereignty of our state, that relegated us from being a state to being merely an administrative province of an out-of-control system in D.C. It would just be a little bit redundant. But you see, there's another part of the Constitution that they took an oath to support. Article 1, Section 2. It is the portion of the Texas Bill of Rights that brings us here today. Article 1, Section 1 starts with these words, and if you believe them with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul, I want to hear from you. But it says that all, not some, but all political power is inherent in the people. And all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. And the people have at all times the inalienable right to reform, alter, or abolish their form of government in such manner as they may think expedient. Do you realize what a burden that places on people like us? You heard Kerry talk about it a moment ago, and then you heard Claver talk about it. It is a terrible burden and responsibility. When you live in a country that is falling apart, when you live in a state that is supposed to be a nation state, but has been relegated to second-class citizenship in this union, it is a burden for people like us. But you see, while other special interest groups gather inside in the warmth, having their cake, celebrating the election of their newest person that is going to represent their interests, the real Texans are standing out here, braving the elements, traveling on their own dime and their own time, from Dalhart to Del Rio, from El Paso to Orange. Yeah. We are the real Texans. We are the people. So what is going to transpire here today? It's not just about standing out here on the north side of the Capitol with all of these flags as a barrier of protection, signaling that we will stand in the gap between the federal overreach and the tyranny coming from D.C. and the people of Texas. The real fight, as has been alluded to today, is not out here on the north steps of the Capitol. The real fight for people like us is through those doors and in the hearts and the minds and the offices of those people who are allegedly elected to represent us. That is where the real fight is. So today, we're going to leave the north side of the Capitol and we're going inside our building. We're going inside to interface directly with these elected representatives who, with the oath fresh on their mind, need to be reminded of those key sections and those key portions. And by the time this day is over, as they peek out of the windows, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we keep getting some looky-loos from inside the building. They know you're here.
Yeah, they do. Hi, y'all.
Hey, let's all wave at them. But by the time this day is over, they are going to know that there are a people in Texas that believe in the principles of freedom, that believe in the principles of liberty, that believe in the principles of independence, that believe the words of Article 1, Section 1 that says that Texas is a free and independent state. We believe that all political power is inherent in us. And the people are getting ready to go inside that building and flex our muscles. We're going to show them the power. Because if the handful, the collection of sycophants can go in there and get their desires and their bills filed, then a group of Texians who believe in these principles should have no trouble whatsoever. So I leave you with this. I notice how the rain stopped.
Thank you, Shar.
You're welcome. Prayer works.
Yes, ma'am. But I was hungry.
I'm going to leave you with this. As we divide up into our groups, and they'll explain this to you how this is going to work, it is going to be quite a different rally than folks are used to here.
Oh, yeah.
These politicians, and take it from me, since we've been coming up here and doing this thing since 2009, they expect us to meet, greet, and retreat. That is their expectation.
Not gonna happen.
Just stay on the outside. We know you're here. You had your opportunity to wave your flags around and raise your voice and give some cheers. But that ain't today.
It's a whole new ball.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't today. We know the situation is more critical than it has ever been. That the very survival of what it means to be Texas is at stake.
Right.
So there will be no more meet, greet, and retreat. We're going in the building, folks. Because we have to show these people that there are folks here. There is a people that believe in freedom and independence. That there are still Texians left in Texas. And that we will do whatever. We will sacrifice whatever. We will spend whatever time, whatever resources are necessary to ensure that they, our elected representatives, give us what we want. Give us the vote for Texas independence.
Amen. Absolutely.
I will say this. Every one of you who came from all corners of Texas, who braved the weather, who braved the elements, who stood out here, some of you since 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock this morning, preparing, getting ready, getting your hearts and minds ready for what has to transpire from here on out, know the importance of what it is we do. Not just today, and not just tomorrow, but from here on out. Our message is quite simple. This rally is not an end. This rally is just the beginning. For some of us, it is the middle of the journey, but from this day forward, let the people, the would-be tyrants in the parliament, let them be on notice that we will not stop, we will not back down until we see Texas free and independent. I'm going to turn this back over to Kerry Wise. He's going to give you the instructions on what we're going to do next. But for one last time, I want to hear you guys scream at the top of your lungs for Texas. Let's give it up, folks.
Daniel!
All right, thank you, Daniel.